Welcome to RamGoatAstrology. I am Laura Lee.
And I am Helena. Welcome. Today we have a guest on who's been with us before. About a year ago, you were a guest on the show. Ivy, welcome back.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. So happy to be here. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm a worth and purpose coach based in Minnesota, just so people know a little bit of who I am.
Yeah, dive in a little bit more. Tell us what does a worth and purpose coach do? Tell me that.
Yes. Well, as a life coach, specializing in helping people lay a solid foundation of worth and purpose and self-love, basically learn how to care for themselves better, how to get out of their own way, how to change their conditioning. Yeah. Energetics. I like to work with energetics and subconscious mind, some neuro-linguistic programming,
Nice.
lots of tools in my toolbox.
Fantastic.
And if anyone wants to go back and listen to the first episode with you, it's called The Witch Wound. So you can go back and listen to more about Ivy.
We're diving into some new stuff today. Ivy, tell us what you're looking to gain some information on.
Yeah, so I thought it would be really fun to dig into love and money today. I have been this whole year, I've been really focused on my revenue as a business owner and growing that and receiving. That's the biggest part, I think, for me, has been first like integrating my masculine and feminine and then being able to ask for help and being able to receive all things, help, money, all things. So yeah, this whole year has been focused on money, and I have a bunch of questions around my chart around that, and love, I think. And then next year, so since I've been so focused on money this year, as you can probably tell, I'm very goal oriented. Yeah. But so next year I'm going to be changing my focus to attracting what I call my higher love. And so I have a couple questions about love so that I can get started, next year on a great solid footing. And then, yeah, the money stuff, I think, is something we all kind of strive to do better with. So, yeah.
Can I just ask you before we look at your chart, when you say money, do you mean the way you're handling money or more like income, like career stuff?
So I feel pretty solid in my career in terms of my purpose, in terms of my service to the world, my offerings. Like I really know who I am. I know who I serve. I work with.
Hold on, let's just honor that.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
amazing. There's not a lot of people who can say that with confidence. Like, I feel good and confident about this. So
yes.
I just we need to take a moment and honor that. That's awesome. I'm so glad you have that and you found that and you're in, I can feel it as soon as you said it, right? I could feel it. It's like, yeah, she does. That's awesome.
Yes. Thank you so much for acknowledging that and taking a moment for me to acknowledge that as well. It's taken me a long time to get to that point where I feel so solid in those areas. But as a purpose coach, like I have to walk the walk, and that is one of the ways and places that I model, for others. So yeah, feel really good in what I'm doing in my offerings. But this year has been really a focus on my energetics, in being able to attract more and being able to attract the right people, to be open to receiving more. It's kind of been an up leveling. And all of a sudden, I don't know, I think it's all the work that I've been doing, but just it's like the floodgates have opened to some degree. And I've seen, I think by September of this year, I already made more than I had made the year before, which is amazing. Yeah. And how do I continue to open myself up to more of that? Yeah. So that's what I mean about money.
Juicy.
Yeah.
Juicy stuff. And isn't this just, it just feels so in alignment with the timing of things entering into Sagittarius season right now. And this explorative energy we just entered into, right? We need to explore and check things out and gain new information from new sources. Such
Yeah.
Sagittarian energy. So I love that you're doing it right now.
Very much. Yeah, we just had a full moon in Gemini. And so has anything new popped up for you, like idea wise or like clarity wise about money or love in this last couple of days?
I mean, there's always new things popping up. I'm like very creative, and there's lots of good stuff always coming. Let me think specifically about
Or clarity around something like, oh.
I feel a readiness to like switch gears in one more month. I'm giving myself through December to still kind of be wrapping up some things on my money front. But I feel really ready to bring in something new, to take on a new challenge with focusing on love and attracting my equal. Yeah, so I just feel like my timing, like I'm ready. I've been kind of percolating on that for a while, and I've tried, I've done some online dating here and there. I've been single for many, many, many years. I think my divorce was 4 years ago, but I was single for like 3 years. It's complicated. Single before that, we were separated. So yeah, many years of being single and working on myself. And I feel like I have healed, and I feel whole, and I feel ready for really big love,
Oh, hold on. Say that again. I feel healed
and whole and ready for a really big love. Yeah.
You got all the juicy words today, Ivy. I love it. Fantastic. All right. Well, let's go ahead. Do you have any more questions, Helena?
No, not yet. I'm intrigued to see your chart.
I love her mind as she's like, you can see the wheels spinning in Helena's head here. So
I'd love to give you guys a little background on kind of my chart changes. So up until maybe a year ago, I always thought that I was, because of 2 minutes difference in my chart, I always thought I was Leo, all Leo, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, and Mercury. However, with just 2 minutes difference, like Laura Lee helped me see just last year that I'm actually Cancer Sun and Ascendant, and then Leo Moon, and yeah. So this has been a big change for me in terms of how I see myself, in terms of my Leo ego. Because I always thought it was so
that
cool.
moon is still there.
Yeah, right. I thought it was so cool to have everything in Leo, but I don't. So I'm just getting used to my Cancerian ways, getting to know what that means.
So did you say that was your ascendant in Leo? Oh, wow.
All four my, everything was
so
Leo.
It's a big change to go from ascendant and sun in Leo to ascendant sun in Cancer.
Yes.
And how have you been embracing that?
Well, I think I'm just finally ready to embrace, because for a while I was grieving.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, of course. It feels like it's your identity, like you identify. But I mean, you have strong Leo aspects. You have your moon there, you have Mercury there. So it's still a lot. But how interesting to then see. Can you see these parts in yourself?
Which parts? The Cancerian?
Yes.
Yeah. More and more as I'm opening to it. I think it was just a new concept. I think I had ideas about what a Cancer was before. I thought I was one, which included like very feeling and maybe a little weak.
Ooh, interesting. And the story goes deeper.
Right. So now I'm like opening up to like, well, what are the positive traits that a Cancer has? Nurturing, like I think of like Empress, kind of mother. Vibes.
Absolutely. I love that you're integrating this, because you have been for years working as a coach with helping integrate the masculine and feminine energies, right? And here you are finding yourself having to do that within your own self.
Right.
And it's Isn't that just isn't that the thing?
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
29-degree, 59-minute Cancer sun sign in the first house. And that's a feminine energy. That's a real feminine energy. And it is so healing. So healing, which I mean, I definitely can see how that represents you tremendously with this overwhelming urge you have to be a healer for others, to work on your own healing. And this first house is I am, right? I am a mothering, nurturing, caretaking healer. That feels so aligned with who you're becoming, who you're really stepping into.
Thank you.
Mm.
I was curious about the ascendant because, I thought I was Leo sun and Leo ascendant, and now instead I'm Cancer sun and Cancer ascendant. Are the sun and the ascendant always in the same sign,
No.
or is that just me? Okay.
That's just you.
She's special.
Yeah.
Okay. Got
But
it.
I also feel like I mean, I know what you do because you just told me, and it makes sense that your ascendant is in Cancer, and because it's that, yeah, you make sure that people are. It's like you take people in the hand and go, we're going this way. Let me lead you, to where you're going, and like taking care of them, like really nurturing them. And when I look at your MC, because that's where the career points, it's an Aries, so it's like leadership, doing something new, like a fire. So you're really doing something new, but the way you're doing it is in a way of, in a nurturing way. And that your sun is on the 29th degree and 59 seconds. I mean, that's like the very, very, very last of Cancer. That sort of means that you fully embodied and have learned this Cancerian energy. It's not new for you in this life. It's something that you know it so well. Like it's not a question for you. So I understand that you can almost identify more with a Leo, because that is something that is more maybe activated, because it's something that you need to embrace more in this life.
I also see with the Leo moon at 13 degrees and then Leo Mercury at 26 degrees. So you have an internal Leo dialogue, right? There is very much your heart, your mind, very Leo, but then the identity and the filter, or how you show up, plus Venus is sitting there at 20 degrees in Cancer as well. So the things that you value are all that real feminine healing energy of Cancer. Also moody. Yeah, moody and broody for sure. Absolutely. We're going to own that.
Like that.
But the best host. Cancers make the best hosts. I'm sure you're a great host.
Yeah.
I do. I have a online community. Oh, I have many different communities, but I have a meetup group, and I have a productivity sisterhood, and yes, I'll take that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Cancers are so great at seeing sort of what the mood is in the room, and like feeling what's in there, like, oh, do I need to go around with some drinks, or do people need to have something to eat, or like, oh, can I help you? Can I get you something? And if you're at home, like at a Cancer's home, I feel like you're always taken care of. All the Cancers I know are like the best at just, really looking after you when you're in their space.
Yep.
Love it. Yeah, I tend to read the room and want to make sure everyone is comfortable or cared for, or gets their needs met, kind of is seen and feels valued and whatnot. So
yeah, Ivy's a great online facilitator as well. I've attended so many of her seminars, workshops, and her and I have also co-taught together, and she really is good at kind of like leading the ship, right? Guiding the ship along the ocean as to where we're going, and whether we need to stop and take a break and stretch, or put some music on, or journal, or whatever. She's very good at creating a vibe and a space, even in an online community, online space. And my husband and I actually do part of her online meetup, and it's like once a month on Fridays, and it's a tarot card group. And so we do Friday night date night, and we join in once a month with their tarot card group, and it's just a fun Friday night thing we do. I really enjoy it. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, super fun. It's called the Card Witches Social Club. And so
Ooh.
I just use it as my opportunity to be geeky around cards, and, whoever wants to join me in that. It's really fun. Yeah.
So this gives you so much more water in your chart than you had before, a significant amount more. And I feel like, because you mentioned receiving. And I feel like Cancer energy is it's both about like nurturing, giving, but it's so much about receiving as well. So I thought that was a really interesting word to receive. And now we find out that you have so much more. And also your Venus, all of your values is in Cancer. It has that energy of taking care of others, but also receiving and being taken care of. But and also I saw something now. Pluto is, oh no, forget about that. Pluto is already past. Pluto has been opposite to your Venus, but that was a while back.
Okay.
That might have
And
been
he
actually
is opposite her sun sign.
Yes, that's true. Ah. All right. I think we must have talked about Pluto last time, Pluto opposite Venus.
I bet we did.
Yeah. So it would be that around relationships and money, a lot of things happened. It would have been a time where things ended and new things begun. Like it's that death and rebirth kind of energy. And this is a couple of years back when it was 20 degrees. I think that might have been like seven-ish years ago, Laura. 7, 8.
I'd have to check.
That's probably when my marriage ended, somewhere around there.
I would guess so.
Would make sense.
Yes, for sure. But now it's creeping closer to being opposite to your sun. So your sun is your identity. And
you
Pluto,
you just told us you were about to show up differently. You literally gave us the exact timeline. You're like, I'm going to go through the next month, and then I'm going to shift. I'm doing this.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's what Pluto is asking, and that's what you're doing. You already knew.
That's amusing to my brain.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I tend to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I love that it's in the first house of I am, right? You literally told us, I am doing this now, and I'm wrapping it up, and then I am changing into this.
Yes. Yes, I tend to pick a word for every year. This last year was magical, and so I'm doing lots of things that have to do with magic, and whatever that, whatever sparks, whatever excites me. And then, next year I think I'm ready to really dive into love and what that means for me and looks like for me. And so very exciting time.
So what would you say that you're looking for from love? You're looking for a partnership?
Yes. So I want a monogamous partner, someone that I can connect with on all levels. I have a very tall order, but I feel like I'm bringing that to the table. So I want the same in return, but I want to be able to connect, emotionally, spiritually, physically, and let's see, whatever the fourth one is. Always. Yes.
All of them.
Yeah. So that's what I'm looking for. I want someone who, I think the biggest thing for me is emotional intelligence. Like I want a who is, can communicate with me anything that comes up with us, either one of us, that we, can look at it and work on it together and talk about it and be really honest and direct and communication and kind of integrity and emotional intelligence. That's what I'm here for.
And also I'm going to add to that too, spiritual maturity, spiritual growth. That's a big thing for you. I've been playing with the asteroid Vesta lately, and I have her up here on your chart. She's at 29 degrees in Capricorn, in the middle of your 7th house of partnership, right? And Vesta, if you look at her, to me, it looks like the Olympic torch with a flame coming out, right? That's what it looks like. And that's really what this asteroid represents, is this flame that we follow, this spiritual longing or path or growth, or it's really that thing that gets our attention, right? It's really the thing we have to pursue. And for you, it's right in the middle of your partnership house. And then Pluto is coming right over the top of it. And you're going to have this transit for the next month or so. And this is going to be this powerful transformation, this powerful, like, stepping up of really manifesting that partnership that you're looking for. I really think there's a huge part of the growth you're seeking, right? You're like, I need emotional intelligence and this and this. Yeah. And spiritual for sure.
Yeah, that's, for me, that's almost a given. Like, I didn't even need to say that, because it's just that's, I mean, the part of connecting on all levels means that, you know, hopefully they are also very spiritually aligned.
Yeah.
That I wanted to ask you, since I don't have any planets in my 7th house, which I think is partnership, what does that mean? Does that mean anything?
No, well, if you have a planet in a house, that sort of highlights that area, but it's very common to not have planets in all the houses.
Yeah.
You still have the energy of the signs
Okay.
in that house. So you have part of Capricorn and a part of Aquarius in that sign. You have your North Node there as well. And this doesn't mean like that it will be easier or harder for you to find partnership. It's just, it's not. Let's say if you had Saturn in the 7th house, then we could see that it might be some struggles within partnership, but having no planets there doesn't really tell you either or.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, everyone has the energy. It's just that it's not an active focus unless then planets transit through there, or you call in a partner that has planets in that area, right? So I don't have anything in Capricorn, and I married a man with 4 planets there. So I got some balance. We're good, right? I call that energy in to help balance me. So that's really the energy that you don't necessarily have to put a lot of focus on in this life, so much as working on yourself, right? With all of these Venus, Sun, Moon, and then Juno is actually the other asteroid I have here at 13 degrees Leo. These are all in your 1st house. So this lifetime, you really manifested where a lot of the real personal planets are showing up in this 1st house of I am. And so this lifetime, you're really here to work on you, and then partnership will come in when you're in your highest alignment, when you're working on you and doing your thing.
Yes,
we can call in the right person. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah. Are there any other places we would look in besides the I am and all the things that are in my 1st house?
There's a lot of things you can actually look at. I like to look at Venus and for how you like to be taken care of. That actually says a lot of, I find, like the first bit of attraction, like how do we like to be, what attracts us, and what do we like for the relationship to keep being interested in, you keep like feeling stimulated. And you were talking about this emotional intelligence, and that makes so much sense because it's in Cancer. And I would also guess that you would want to be with someone who sort of has that same thing as you, can sort of tell what you need and when you need it, like this really like I see you know, how are you need this, and like just that big sort of warm thing you can climb into and feel safe and secure. Something else you can look to is Mars, for example, for attraction. That's a big sparky one, more like physical attraction. And these things are more like you're going to meet whoever you're going to meet, but looking at these placements can help you when you meet these people, like, oh, can I see these aspects in these people? If you can't see any of them, then it's maybe a point to that, oh, this is sort of fun, but maybe it's not super aligned. Or maybe they're hitting all the spots and you're like, yes, this really feels like it's nice to have the chart as sort of a something to sort of backtrack to and say, oh, actually, yeah, this makes so much sense. This is good, because sometimes when you meet someone and it sort of feels good, but maybe you have some questions and you don't really know, that's when you look at the chart.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So my Venus being in Cancer I'm just repeating what I think I heard you say. That kind of means that I would like to be the way that I care for people. I would like that in return, kind of.
Because you have so much Cancer energy. Yes.
Okay.
That's why I said that, because Venus in Cancer means that you would like to be nurtured in the same way that I guess that you are nurturing others, because you have so much Cancer energy. So yeah, definitely be with someone sensitive, someone who has those, the same sort of like gut feeling, the instant or the fingertip feeling, or to sort of tell the mood. Like, I think that, and that's sort of under the surface kind of connection. Like, you don't have to speak everything out, because you can feel each other more.
Yeah.
I think
amazing.
Yeah, well, I think that's what you would feel safe having in a partner.
Yeah, it sounds to me like you're describing like a person of depth, like how I feel myself, very deep and complex, and lots of facets. And
So then I see another layer over here, because here I am in my hot air balloon, right? And I'm looking at your chart in a different way than than our Capricorn friend in Sweden.
Yes.
And I see all of this stuff in the first house, which is ruled by Aries. And then you got a whole bunch going on in Leo. So I see somebody who's also quite playful. You need someone who is willing to try new things, take risks, play, explore. And then what is really interesting is your moon is at 13 degrees Leo, and the asteroid Juno is at 13 degrees Leo. So you've got a conjunction with this planet that represents long-term marriage partnership. Like, that's what this represents. And it's right on top of your moon. And then those two happen to be talking to Chiron. And you actually just had a Chiron return. So, and that's an Aries. So what's really intriguing, what I see about this is that as you're working on healing your Chiron wound and you're stepping into this career, life purpose stuff that you've been doing the last year, right? You're really, really pushing forward with just taking risks, and you just launched a whole new website, and you and I took that on together. We were like, okay, we're going to do this massive program and we're going to learn this together. So we've been kind of working behind the scenes to heal a lot of these worthiness things within our businesses, within our respective careers and purpose. And that to me says that you're taking these Aries initiatives. You're doing this fun stuff, even though it's kind of hard, and sticking with it and being mature about it is not really the most fun. But that's trine to your moon and Juno in Leo in the first house. So this is fun energy. Like, you're really got this activated fun energy. And the more you heal your Aries Chiron wound, and the more you show up in this big way in your career, the more I see you attracting and bringing in this fun vibe energy of people in general, but also partnership, because Juno is tied in here. So whenever she's tied in, this very much represents like who you really have a deep compatibility with, like long term. Ironically, the only thing I have in Earth in my chart and in Capricorn is Juno. So here's my Capricorn husband, right? So it's very interesting when you put her into charts. I know we don't bring her in often in readings, but when you put her into a chart, especially when I knew what you were looking for today, Ivy, I was like, we got to pull this asteroid in and see what she has to say. And when I saw it right on top of your emotional needs, Leo moons need to be recognized. They need to have fun. They need to have that childlike playfulness and be able to share their emotions very big, right? You have to be with someone who has no problem handling, a hot potato of emotions and knowing it's going to change and it's going to be happy and soon as it can be, right? Because really that's where your emotions are going towards. They're really going towards optimism and positivity most of the time. But when you're upset, opposite Mars, you get upset real good. you got a good temper going. It's okay. And so somebody needs, whoever's with you needs to be able to handle that and witness it almost. I don't want to be like cutting you down or anything with your emotions, but almost like a parent would witness a child with their big emotional displays, not get lost in it, but just hold space and go, oh, you're hurting right now. Okay. Well, let me know what I can do to help you. Right. Like that they won't get pulled down into your stuff with you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I see someone who definitely has depth and emotional needs and all of that Cancer stuff, but someone who's bold and playful, for
I love
sure.
that.
Playful.
Yes, please. Because I tend to get too serious at
You
times. And I need somebody to like shake me up and pull me out of that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if we're going to look at like a timeline, because I feel like that's also something that would be fun to know.
Always.
Always. What we can see is that Venus is right now in your 4th house, but it will enter your 5th house of like romance in, when would that be? In about a month or so. Yeah. So that is really, that opens up for more of that flirtation, that like romantic vibe. And you have Jupiter in Scorpio in the 5th house too. So when Venus comes close to it and passes Jupiter in Scorpio, which is a real sexy sign in the 5th house, that could be a time when stuff happens. Pluto is still in your 7th house, and the 7th house is partnerships, like relationships, and not just romantic partnerships, but all partnerships. And it will be here for quite some time. So there will be a time for you for a couple of years to come where you will be sort of rebuilding and like restructuring and like finding new ways, because Pluto's going into Aquarius, and Aquarius energy is all about finding new ways. So I think that you will find new ways of how to have a partnership with someone, something that is not at all what you did before, but really new rules.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm all about some new rules and new ways of being in partnership. Yes, please.
And independence too. I mean, Aquarius rules independence, if nothing. So learning how to be almost like the Aquarius symbol, right? There's two waves that move together, but they're still separate from each other. So learning how to be independent within relationship and respect each other's independence, and like the codependency crap isn't gonna work, right?
Yeah,
So
because you have so much in your 1st house. You need to have your own like space and time, and then it's great to go back and think about past relationships and think, okay, what didn't work? Did you give yourself time to be alone, time, or not even just time, but like the space to go your own way within your relationship with someone else within the relationship? Because you have so much of that 1st house energy. You need that space to sort of venture out into your own adventures, but still be in a partnership. That's possible.
Absolutely. I've always been pretty independent, and even in relationships. Most of my friends, I think we all know people that lose themselves in relationships, and that's never really been me. But I want to find someone that can appreciate that I'm so independent and don't need them maybe as much as others might, because the ex I would say I this or I that, and he would just hear I. He would like basically call me selfish. And so I want someone that can see that I have things that are really important to me and that I'm here to do in this life, but really also value those things and give me the time and space to do them. Rather than making me feel guilty for that, drive.
No. Yeah.
Sure.
But those
Absolutely.
things are great to look at, like when you meet this person, when you meet someone interesting,
Mhm.
maybe a few dates in, you'll be like, oh, do you have you looked at your astrology chart? Let's look at it. Or like, let's like I can tell you some of mine, like this is sort of who I am, and this is how I function, and these are sort of my needs. And in the 7th house, you have part of Capricorn, which is just super stable and loyal. And then you have part of that Aquarius that is also that freedom, like, I want to go out. So just I think explaining these energies to someone really helps. Like,
Yes.
okay, you might hear that I say a lot of I. It's
Mhm.
because, you know, I still want to be with you. I want to be in a relationship, but I have a lot of things going on and I need that space. Just to
Mhm.
like, yeah, because we're all so different. And that's the magic of astrology, to get to know yourself and others deeper.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's, I mean, that's what I've been waiting. I've been, looking forward to at some point knowing that I would, have a partner, and wanting it to be different, and wanting it to be that way where we can talk about astrology and a number of other things where we can get really deep with each other. So
Yeah.
I look forward
Yeah.
to that.
And with Venus in Libra right now, it's really, as she treks through there in your 4th house, it's time for you to really work on the internal harmony, right? The 4th house really represents who you are in your home life, in your, in your space, in your
Mhm.
home, in your house, when you bake, when you do whatever you do. So finding the things that really bring you that peace or that harmony that Libra represents. And then really starting to think about and contemplate, what does that look like to bring another person in, and how do I still maintain the balance and harmony and peace
Yeah.
with another person, right? And balancing with your son and maybe the ex, and however that your dynamics work, right? Everyone's dynamics are different.
Mhm.
So this is a great time for you to really be utilizing Venus energy to think, right? Libra's intellectual. So think about, what do healthy boundaries look like? What healthy boundaries do I want to set? How do I want to do this with my child? How do I want it, right? Like just kind of foreshadowing, like, okay,
Mhm.
so now I'm manifesting this partner, this perfect partner that fits me like a glove. How do I then bring that in and maintain the harmony and the peace that I've been working so hard on my own to
Mhm.
achieve? So now is when we kind of do that chewing of it, right? Chew it around in your mouth. What does this taste like? How does it taste from here? And then as Venus moves into Scorpio, and then 2 degrees later right into your 5th house, then we can work on manifesting that fun, that partnership that can go deep, right? You talked about depth. Scorpio is depth. So we
Mhm.
can really start to feel the undercurrents, and like, which direction do we need to move, or do we just sit here and wait like an octopus hidden under the water, right? Or do
Mhm.
we need to flow with a new current? So this is a good time for you to really be thinking about integrating someone into your life
Okay.
and how that works.
I like it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Um, okay, so I feel like we really covered a lot in terms of my love life, and
Yeah.
what I can be thinking about and doing with that, and that
Mm.
it's really fun. Um, Now can we talk a little bit about money?
Mhm.
Yes, please.
And it's funny because it's the same planet. Venus is both romance
Oh.
and money. So I
Mhm.
feel like we would be looking at sort of the same things, or similar things at
Just a
least.
different pair of glasses.
Yeah, different pair of glasses, but similar things. I was just now looking at Venus in your chart, which is trine to Jupiter
Mhm.
in your chart. And Jupiter is abundance. It just makes things huge.
Mm.
And this is a nice position. Like
Yeah, it is.
this looks like, yeah, it can come in really easy, both money and romance, all of those things. Jupiter is in Scorpio. That's a sign that is this, super deep, like intense feelings, emotions. And Venus is also in a water sign. So I feel like here it has to it's already an easy flow with these planets and the positions. To enhance that, I think you just need to let yourself go even more into that Scorpionic, like Jupiter in Scorpio, in your life, and what that, how you can, like, just let yourself be super woo. I think, like, just really go all the way, for sure. And the other thing I'm seeing with Venus is what Laura talked about before. It's Chiron, which is in not an easy flowing aspect to Venus. It's in a square position, and Chiron is sort of our wound. Yours is in Aries, that leadership, in the 10th house, which is career. Like, has it been before that career in your life has been a thing that didn't work with your relationships, something that was sort of in, or the way that you, like, the leader in you, to have that leader role, has that been hindered by your relationship, or vice versa?
I wouldn't necessarily say hindered, but maybe not understood.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
They didn't I don't know. I never felt like they really understood me or could see the value in me needing to step into my leadership, and just being very ambitious and being very driven, purpose-wise, and not being willing to settle for, like, I couldn't work in corporate. I needed to have my own business, and I've, for a long time I didn't make any money. So that was a struggle for us, because I had this big dreams and this big vision, but they couldn't see the results. And so they didn't get it. But I couldn't not do it. It's just driving me so strong. And also I think I have, I'm very optimistic, so that I knew it was eventually going to work out, but I wouldn't give it up either. So, yeah, it was maybe contentious, but not in the way you would think. Yeah.
Well, there's a couple things in your chart I see. So Venus is trying to Jupiter, but then I look at who else is Jupiter talking to, right? Because they're all interconnected. And then I look over, and exactly square to Jupiter is the way you think and learn and communicate, Mercury. And that happens to be in the 2nd house of finances. So that's another area that I look to. If you have planets in the 2nd house, that tells me your thoughts, because this is the planet of thinking, your thoughts will be focused on those foundational needs in life, right? Solid home, solid bank account, solid relationships. And you are incredibly optimistic with Leo. Absolutely. Like, you are like, I go keep going until I die or get this right. Like, this is the only 2 options, right? It's like that lioness. She will do anything to keep her pride safe and her cubs alive. So you've got this square energy, and whenever there's a square, it just creates internal tension. So your bigness and this big charismatic vibe you have with Venus on your rising sign. So rising is 18 degrees, Venus is 20. And then that is trying to Jupiter. This really gives you this, like, super charismatic energy, like super charismatic. People see this amazing vibe that you give off. We talked about it before. Like, you set a good tone, right? You give a good feel, but your mind questions that. Your mind, there's like this, you have that, but at the same time, you're like, is that really a thing? Or am I being self-centered? Or, like, right?
Yeah.
There's like
Totally.
an internal dialogue that doesn't fully believe that you are as attractive with money, relationships, whatever, as you really are. Venus trine Jupiter is, I'm not kidding you. You can Google this. This is one of the best planetary aspects to have, like, by far. I would love to have this energy.
Same.
Because it's such a positive, beneficial thing. You have the ability to just create ease and comfort with your life with this aspect, but your mind square to Jupiter, and then your mind square to Saturn in Gemini, starts to question that. Go, well, do I really? I don't know if I do. Oh man. Oh, right. We start to think in the way is it's why you do the coaching, so that you can remind yourself constantly as you're working with your clients. You're also coaching yourself, right? That's how it works for us, right? So communicating effectively, Saturn and Gemini, yeah, you are here to learn how to speak your truth. Absolutely. And this full moon we just had happened 1 degree off of this. It was at 4 degrees. So you had this big energy just recently on your planet of maturity and grow up, and it's time to be responsible about the way we communicate and the way we put ourselves out there. And I love that we're doing a reading for you today. Like it works out so well. So you're here to really embrace that you are so gifted with attracting money and attracting relationships, and it's right there. It's just your mind gets in the way and starts to like almost break the connection that you have, right? You've got this connection, and then you like start chatting in your mind about why it won't work or whatever, and then it cuts it down. And that happens also because when Mercury is opposite Mars, we kind of have this internal dialogue and struggle as well, and we feel like we have to fight for things and we have to work extra hard because Mars is in the 8th house of transformation. So we got to work to transform ourselves and transform the way we think, and then we can attract the stuff. And here I'm telling you, actually, your vibe is already there. You already got it. You just got to get your mind on board that it's already there. You've got all of the magnetism you need for the love, the money, the everything. Does that make sense? Do you feel that?
Yeah, that feels very resonant. Yeah. And I always feel like I'm always pushing in terms of, I mean, I really try not to, but in terms of my transformation, it's like, what's next? I need to, it's almost like the growth has to be uncomfortable in order for me to see it as valid or something, you know? It's like, I'm always pushing myself, always wanting to grow, always wanting to kind of live my biggest possible life. And there's some part of me that feels like it's never enough.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's Chiron at the top of your chart in Aries. Yep. Absolutely. That's your wound to go, oh yeah, it feels like it's never enough, but it is. Oh yeah, thanks Chiron for reminding me, and I'm enough, right? You just keep grabbing it and go, oh yeah, there's that thing there. Here's the key. The key is for me to recognize that I am enough. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep on going forward.
Well, and exactly.
And I'm already here. I think that's what I hear you saying is like, I need to keep reminding myself that I've done the work. I've been doing the work. I will continue to do the work. It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be a struggle. It doesn't have to be uphill. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not like a specific thing you need to wait for.
Yeah. It actually indicates that you've done the work in many lives before. And in this life, you really get to reap the rewards of Venus on your rising sign. That's a beautiful placement, like beautiful placement. You just keep living in that compassion. Like this is compassion. Show up with compassion, especially for yourself. The more you show up compassionate for yourself, the more you keep activating that Venus trine Jupiter. And Jupiter in the 5th house, that's just exciting. So keep creating, because that creative 5th house vibe is really where you're gonna activate all the good juicy stuff, right? So it is you, right? It is you. You don't have to keep pushing. It feels like it because you've got Mercury in fire and Mars in air. So we've got action and go in this Aquarius energy that really needs to keep getting information, right? And for you, that information has to be transformation, because that 8th house where your Mars is, like, if you're not transforming, well, then what am I doing? What am I even doing here? I got to transform, right? So sometimes 8th house energy can feel so intense because that's what it is. So your drive to take action on this transformation is intense. And your mind in the 2nd house is so focused on creating that foundational stability. So that does lead to angsty kind of energy for sure. Like, I got to be going, or what am I doing? I got to go. fire and air needs to move. So how could you move in a way that's more in flow or in tune and balances out that angsty energy? That's your question. I don't know. But
To bring in more of the
steps.
air and the fire, or more of the air and the water. Maybe.
Yeah. There's so many different ways to take action, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
sometimes for people who have a lot of this go juice, I call it, right? You and me obviously work together a lot, so we know we both have this go juice. It is hard to just be and allow.
Yes.
But
Absolutely.
when we look at where Ceres is in your chart, she's the asteroid of filling our bucket and feeling nurtured. And she's in Cancer at 7 degrees in your 12th area of life. So when you really are feeling that angst, remember that for you, filling your bucket, feeling nurtured in your soul and physically really requires you to like kind of go sit on the lazy river, right? You ever go to the water park and just sit on the raft
Totally.
and go along the lazy river?
Yes.
That's what this energy is. Just lean into the flow of spirit and the waters of the calm ocean and just really nurture yourself with nourishing food, maybe a good movie, just a good book, something that makes you just feel good inside and sit and chill. That's what really nourishes your soul. Your mind and your action planet will then start to kind of chill out and calm down a little bit when you're focusing on that lazy river energy. I just see you. I keep seeing you on a floaty
I love it.
going around the lazy river. That feels good.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you do enough just kind of lazy river activity or no?
I'm getting better at it. It's a practice. It's a
Good.
practice. It didn't used to come naturally. I have to
Gosh.
undo my light just in case I don't want to lose you guys. My battery's dying, so
That's
bear
fine.
with me a second here. But yeah, it's been a practice. I didn't used to allow that at all for myself, or didn't even know that I needed it. But now I'm well aware, and I try. I really do try.
Mhm.
I'm getting better at it. So yeah,
Yeah.
work in progress.
Good.
And that's the thing with all of these, when we see squares or oppositions in our chart, it's those things that we need to work a little bit more on. Like Laura usually says, it's like a muscle you need to train. Like when you go to gym, the first time it's super hard. It's
Yeah.
annoying. It's, you sweat a lot.
I
And you
wanna
don't want to go back. You don't want to go back. No, you don't want to do that ever again. But the more you go, easier it becomes. It becomes so easy and you become strong.
Mhm. Yeah.
So it's really just about a Chiron will always be in Aries in the 10th house. It's not going to move. It will always be in a square to Venus. But what you can do is become more comfortable with that energy and sort of practice how to deal with that one. Like, how does this show up in with you and money? How does this show up with you in relationships? And yeah, maybe journal on that.
Mm-hmm. And with a Chiron return, it is activating that wound big time, right? It very much is activating this. Are you good enough? Are you really? Do you really believe that? Have you done the work? Right? It's questioning you so that you can stand confidently in that Aries attitude and go, yeah, I freaking have. I've done a lot of work. Thank you so much. You want to see my credentials? Here you go. Right? Look at this website I just made. Good job, me. Right? Right. So that questioning is not meant for you to, accept it. It's almost like have you read the book, The Untethered Soul? Have
It's
you read
on my
that?
list.
Oh,
It's on my
so
list.
good. In that book, he talks about the people in our head that say dumb things to us. And what if we took that person out of our head and put them next to us on the couch and they became like our roommate? And how long would we allow that person to be a roommate for? We
Oh.
wouldn't. We would kick them out immediately, right? They'd be the bum on
Right.
the couch who doesn't pay rent, right? So why are we allowing that person in our head to take up residence, right? So when those questions come up and go, well, am I good enough? Yes, I am. Thank you so much. Thanks for asking. Appreciate that. Right. And Aries definitely has kind of a cocky attitude. I don't know anything about that. So you got to step into that and be like, yeah, I have been doing the work. Thank you so much. I appreciate some income now. Universe, I'm ready. I've been doing my finances. I've been doing my work. I've been doing the healing, the feeling, all of the good shit right now. Bring it. And that's where that square will start to really get strong and healed. So I think the timing for you right now is actually lining up really, really well when it comes to manifesting partnership and money, especially with Pluto over here about to go into Aquarius in your 7th house, hanging out right on Vesta, that flame lighting you up, really activating this like, what does light me up? Right? And then your North Node just at the tail end of your 7th house in Aquarius. Partnership for you is going to be a massive spiritual journey. It is. So waiting for that right person, because they really do need to be weird, right? It's important. Somebody you can transform with, somebody you can be kinky with, somebody you can go deep with. So you got to really just recognize that your energy is vibing the right vibe. You just got to wait for the magnetic attraction, right? Whether it's through the internet, whether it's, in person, however it shows up for you. I wouldn't be surprised if it was somebody you met through the internet or who saw you over the internet. That wouldn't surprise me at all. Not with Mars and North Node and Aquarius. That makes sense.
Can you tell me just a little bit about North Node and South Node, what those mean?
Yeah. Helena, you want to do that?
So the North Node it's sort of something that kicks in more tangibly after 40. And it's something that your soul is going towards. It's not a planet, so it doesn't give you like a personality trait. It's more like a pointer in the sky of like, this is your destiny. This is your soul's destiny, pretty much.
Yeah.
So mine is in my
Aquarius
transformation
in 7th house.
Yeah. Oh.
Yep,
Is it
just at the
7th house?
tail end of the 7th house, and right in the middle of Aquarius, 14 degrees Aquarius. So you're really aiming towards the weirdest of the weird.
So that's also like you said, you're working with Laura. I mean, this.
Speaking of the
you're
weirdest
having a
of the weird.
partnership with Laura Lee here, who is super Aquarian. It's these sort of things,
Yeah,
that's totally right for you. Like these are the people that you will attract to have these relationships with that you need for your soul, pretty much. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah,
get with the weirdos.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think maybe a year and a half ago when I first started, I think when I first met Laura Lee, when we were writing the book chapters, she told me that I was going to meet a Capricorn weirdo, probably in this April or somewhere there about. So the fact that we're talking about,
that's funny.
moving
really,
towards
this
weirdo.
coming April.
Yeah. She had told me it was like, I don't know, a couple years out, and I had done the math, and so I had kept track of that. So I'm open to it
cool.
if that is true. We'll see.
That's amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
And timing wise, like I'm looking at stuff going, okay, that'll be there. That'll be all right. Right? Like I can see what's going on. And April for you is a phenomenal time, just with your MC at 1 degree Aries. Aries season is always just a brilliant time for you, whether it's career, life purpose, whatever it is. It's such a time for you to shine and launch new things. So really utilize that spring equinox energy for your chart. It lines up so phenomenally for just launch, right? Launch, whether it's launching a new relationship, a new program. It's such a phenomenal season for you with that 1 degree Aries energy at the 10th house.
Awesome. That's wonderful. I will take that. I'll take that and run with it. So what about the South Node?
Yes. So the south node is always exactly opposite the north node. So your south node, we don't see it in this chart, but it would end up being in Leo.
Mhm.
And the south node sort of, it's more of where you're coming from, what you feel super comfortable with, sometimes too comfortable because you know that energy so well, and that is Leo energy. So that is where you might, if you have a situation in front of you and your gut instinct will be to react in a way that is your south node to solve that problem. How to to go about it in a Leo manner when you're supposed to do it in an Aquarius manner.
Mm.
So if we're like, that would be like, if you're stressed or something, you would take maybe the Leo more decision about those things when you're supposed to take the Aquarian ones.
Yeah, the North Node energies are typically not as comfortable for us. It's something we're kind of striving for, especially if you have personal planets in the area of your South Node, right? My husband's got this situation where his South Node is very, very, very close to his Sun and his Mercury. So he has to really work hard to lean towards that other spectrum, the other end. And so same thing for you, because your moon is hanging out right here at 13 degrees Leo. So that emotional reaction is actually quite easy for you to access, and you have a lot of connection from the past where you've lived a lot of Leo energy life, a lot of Leo themes, Leo stuff. And now in this life, you really need to be focusing on just unique expression, independence, rebellious nature, doing things outside of any box, any normalcy, right? Really experiencing life in kind of a new alien way. It's almost like picking you up and putting you in a foreign country where you don't know anything and learning about their customs and cultures and everything. Just this really unique feelings and unique ideas. So this is where you're going. And I love that Mars is there for you, because he can kind of help. He can help you do that transformation and drive you in the right path towards the Aquarius stuff. And Aquarius is very big in the technology realm, right? Ruling technology. So putting your all your Cancerian compassionate energy out into technology to connect with people is a way for you to do that. And it like I said, it wouldn't surprise me if you attracted a partner through technology.
Yeah.
Cool.
I love that. I love that. Any other questions, Ivy? Anything else we can help you with?
Let's see. I think we've really done a great job of digging into some really juicy stuff. And yeah, I think you guys have basically covered everything I wanted to touch on. So thank you.
Amazing. Yeah. The way I see it with like things that are going to happen, you know, you want this partnership and you want like more abundance income, is that you know, you can only do so much with astrology. Like you can see, like for example, Venus is going into your 5th house, it will bring more of those opportunities, more of that energy, and then it's always your decision what to do with that energy. So for me, it doesn't say like this will happen at that time, but it says that this will be more accessible for you if you choose to go somewhere with it. And so I feel like what we have been talking a lot about is your personality, who you are, and that is the way it's supposed to be, I think, because you learn what you want and what you need in life a lot by looking at what you have inside of yourself, and you learn from what you've been going through and what you don't want to bring with you into a next relationship, when you and what you want to bring with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you. I think you've given me lots of good food for thought, as always. And I'm gonna like watch it again and look over my notes. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you for being on. How can people work with you? Tell us how they can find you and what you got going on.
Yeah, so my website is called elevatewithivy.com. And I have, let's see, you can find my meetup group, The Wisery. It's a conscious community for seekers and healers. you can find that also on my website. And let's see. Yeah, I don't have a huge social media presence, and that is intentional. My Instagram got hacked and taken away, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm not meant to do that anymore.
Done with that.
Happily done with that. So yeah, my website is the best way to find me. If anyone is interested in working with me, I do a free 2-hour, what I call a magical coaching call for anyone that might want to consider explore coaching with me, with no expectations or anything from that. That's kind of my service to the world, because I love what I do so much.
That's
So
amazing.
yeah, you can sign up for that on my website. But
And
yeah.
then you also have some meditations on Insight Timer as well?
Ooh, yes, I do. I'm a teacher on Insight Timer, and I love kind of sharing my voice and being able to write and create kind of experiential journeys that way. So yeah, find me on Insight Timer. I have a handful of awesome meditations that are free. So yeah, that's another way you can hear my voice.
Yeah, Ivy's got a great skill with hypnosis, meditation, just everything. She's helped me through so many things, and I frequently will call her when I'm having mama moments and need some support. And it's been such a great relationship. I'm so glad we found ourselves through the internet to connect. And yeah, we are in the book Dare to Express together. So if you want to find out more about Ivy, a little bit of her story is in Dare to Express, along with mine, and that is on Amazon. So thank you so much for being with us, Ivy. We so appreciate you joining us today.
Thank you for having me. It's been my pleasure, ladies.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Take care, everyone.
Ivy.
We'll see you next time. Bye. Thank you for joining us on this episode of RamGoatAstrology. You can support the show by buying us a coffee or a tea. Link in the show notes. Your financial support means the world to us. Join us next time.